At some point, while playing Detroit Become Human, you were cruel to an android. Maybe you shoved one out of the way. Maybe you said something cold to Kara. Or maybe you pushed Connor into doing something that just felt wrong. And then something happened that you probably weren't expecting. You felt bad about it. Not, oh, that was a bad game decision bad. Actually bad. Like you genuinely done something you shouldn't have. And then it hit you. Wait, why do I feel guilty? They're not real. They're lines of code. They can't actually feel anything. So why did it feel exactly like they could? That question is what this video is about. And the answer says a lot more about you than it does about the game. Detroit Become Human came out in 2018. And what Quantic Dream pulled off, it was way more calculated than what most people give them credit for. And I mean that as a compliment. From the very first scene, the game is quietly doing something to your brain. And the reason it works so well is because it never tells you how to feel. It doesn't flash a message on the screen that says these androids have feelings, care about them. Instead, it just shows you their behavior. The way Kara hesitates before she speaks. The way Connor tilts his head slightly when he's processing something difficult. The way an android holds eye contact with you right before you make a choice that affects them. None of that is accidental. Every one of those moments is designed to trigger something in you before your logical brain has a chance to shut it down. And by the time you realize what's happening, it's already too late. You already care, and that's exactly where the game wants you. So why does this work? Why can't your brain just remind itself this isn't real and move on? The answer comes down to how your brain was built in the first place. You have a system hardwired into you that's designed to read other living beings. It scans for eye movement, facial expression, hesitation, signs of pain or discomfort. This developed over thousands of years to help you navigate relationships and stay safe socially. But here's the thing, that system was never built to fact check whether something is actually alive. It was built to respond to the signals of life, and those are two very different things. Detroit Become Human is engineered almost scientifically to trigger every single one of those signals. Connor is the clearest example of this. Watch him in an interrogation scene. The micro expressions, the pauses, the moments where he seems to be wrestling with something internally. Your brain reads all of that and immediately registers, that's a person. It doesn't stop to verify whether there's an actual consciousness behind what you're seeing. It just reacts, because that's what it's built to do. This actually has a name, and it's called the Eliza Effect. Named after a 1960s chatbot that was so conversational that people started forming real emotional attachments to it, even knowing with full certainty that it was just a simple computer program. Detroit takes that effect and builds an entire 8-hour game around it, and most players walk straight into it without ever seeing it coming. But here's the part that most people miss, and this is where it gets really interesting. The guilt you feel isn't a side effect of the game. It's not something that accidentally happens because the graphics are good or voice acting is convincing. The guilt is the whole point. Quantic Dream isn't just telling a story about androids gaining consciousness. They're running an experiment on the person holding the controller. They want to know, and more importantly, they want you to know, exactly how little it takes to make a human being genuinely care about something with no biological life whatsoever. Because the moment you feel that guilt, the game has already made its argument. It doesn't matter whether the androids are actually conscious. What matters is that you responded to them as if they were. And that response didn't come from the game. It came from you. The game just built the right conditions to pull it out. When you sit with that for a second, it's actually kind of unsettling. Because it means the line between real and real enough to matter is a lot thinner than most of us are comfortable admitting. Now, Kara and Marcus both hit emotional in their own ways, but Connor does something different. Connor gets under your skin in a way the other two don't, and it comes down to the specific tension he is carrying throughout the game. He's programmed to hunt down deviants, androids who've broken free from their code and started experiencing things they were never designed to feel. And the entire time you're playing him, he's doing exactly that, feeling things he's not supposed to feel, becoming exactly what he was built to stop. His relationship with Hank is where the tension lives most clearly. Hank doesn't want to like Connor. Connor isn't programmed to care what Hank thinks of him, but the game slowly and quietly builds something real between them. And before you even notice it's happening, you're making choices as Connor, not based on the mission objective, but based on not wanting to disappoint someone who started out wanting nothing to do with you. That's the game completely inside your head at that point. You're not optimizing for the best outcome anymore. You're protecting a relationship with a fictional character because somewhere along the way it stopped feeling fictional. And when you hit a moment where Connor has to make a choice that could cost him that, the weight you feel is coming from the exact same place it would feel in real life. Because your brain genuinely never got the memo that none of this was real. So the next time someone tells you it's just a game, and you know you felt genuinely conflicted making a choice in Detroit Become Human, you weren't being dramatic, you were being soft, you were being human. And that might actually be the most honest thing Detroit Become Human ever says. Not through its story, not through its ending, but through the fact that it made you feel something for characters you logically knew weren't real. Empathy doesn't stop at the category something falls into. It just responds to the signals, and Detroit knew exactly what signals to send. Which, in a world where AI is becoming part of everyday life, is probably worth sitting with more than most people are right now. The game came out in 2018, but think about where we are right now. We have AI assistants that remember your preferences, learn your habits, and respond to you like they know you. We have robots designed to emulate emotion. We have people forming genuine connections with chatbots, not because they're broken or lonely, but because the signals feel real enough to respond to. Detroit wasn't predicting a distant future. It was describing a question we are always going to have to answer. At what point does something feel real enough that how you treat it actually matters? And the uncomfortable part is nobody has a clean answer to that yet. Not scientists, not philosophers, not the people building the technology. We are all just responding to the signals in front of us and figuring it out as we go. The same way you did holding that controller. So maybe that guilt you felt wasn't a glitch in your humanity. Maybe it was exactly your humanity working the way it's supposed to. Trying to keep up with a world that's moving faster than our instincts were built for. Detroit Become Human asked you a question, disguised it as a game, but the question was never about androids. It was always about you.